Minasan, okari nasai. Today, well, we all know who the Aqua Girls play in Love Live and what they do within the franchise, but what about what they do outside of the franchise? If you're a diehard fan, I'm sure you already know, but hey, maybe you'll still learn something while watching. If you decide to stick around, I'll go over anime roles, maybe some game stuff, though I think only one really has anything worth mentioning here. But I'll also talk about their music careers, stage plays, and photo books, though most of the girls have very similar careers, 8 of them releasing solo music while the other is more of a live-action actress. That's enough for the intro though, let's dive in. First up, our fearless leader Anju. She's only really had one real relevant other anime role, that being Arika in Anime Monogatari. Lots of talent in that show, and Anchan's character is basically main cast, so check it out. But with Anju, her heart belongs to the stage, with many, many roles. But the anime-related ones that you might know include TQ, Gold Trigger, Naruto, Fairy Tail, Danganronpa, Galaxy Express 39, and a more recent big one being My Hero Academia. Prior to joining Love Live, she had 2 singles released, those being Good Shepherd and Love Dawn, but in more recent years she has released another 4 singles, those being On Sole Toll, Millie 10 Dresses, Raise the Ace, and Killer Bee, a personal old-time favorite of mine just in general. For sure check out the music video, and that last one also being released under her own label called Q Me Disque. She has been in a dozen or so games, but most of them are just mobile stuff that you probably don't care about. There is, however, a recent one in a big series, being in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. She's also done some Japanese dubbing in Pitch Perfect and Spider-Man Homecoming. On to super energetic Shuka. She has 4 anime roles that I'd like to highlight in World Dai Star, Oresuki, Akebi Sailor Uniform, and Wonder Egg Priority, with 2 other Love Live girls. Over the past few years, she has been releasing a lot of music, 1 full album being Patchwork, then 4 minis, Shoelace, Sunflower, Ashite Shimaiba, and 555, which actually won't be out until July. Or I guess it's more like go go go, go being how you say 5 in Japanese. Also go being the English word that they use a lot in music. There's also her 4 singles, 3 of which are even Annie songs. Openings for Oresuki and A Herbivorous Dragon, then the ending for Back Arrow. Also her and the rest of the cast of Wonder Egg sang the ending theme together. By herself though, she is a super active singer, easily having over 30 shows within the last 2 years. Also being at the Lisani and Anisama festivals. There's also her 2 photo books, Hadashi and Shuka Yasumi. The lovely Miss Aida arguably has the biggest resume in Aqua, however with the anime in particular, most of them are just unnamed episode exclusive characters. And majority of her name characters are in mediocre anime to say the least, like Senryu Girl and Vow Love. This second one though is sort of watchable because of the strong degenerate stuff it has going on, but she's also the lead in a mecha show called LBX Girls. The 3 watchable shows that I do recommend, even just for a casual watch, are Sagrada Reset, Those Snow White Notes, and Aquatope on the White Sand, which she co-stars with Miku Ito. Then there's Skip and Loafer, which I highly recommend. She's got 10 or so game roles too, but nothing really noteworthy aside from Love Live. If you somehow have access to watching Japanese dubs of foreign media, well, I'd say that's where she has her most success. She is in Gossip Girl, Pacific Rim Uprising, the newer Scream movies, the Dungeons & Dragons movie, House of the Dragon, and Killing Eve. Wouldn't be surprised if she was in a future MCU movie. That would be really hype, honestly. Like live-action Squirrel Girl, portrayed by Anna Kendrick and dubbed by Aida. Yes, please. Anyway, she sang the openings for LBX Girls and Vow Love, again with Vow Love singing the ending with most of the cast, and the endings for Skip and Loafer as well as Senryu Girl, all on her own. That last song is Ordinary Love, by the way, arguably her most popular track. As for her music in general, she has 1 full album, Curtain Rise, a mini titled Act 2, and 3 EPs, those being Nostalgia, Principle, and Fiction. Principle has Ordinary Love, by the way, that's probably the one you want to listen to. Aside from these, she also has a non-anime song called Blue Hour. With a dozen or so lives over the years, being a guest at Lisani, also being the first member to perform solo at Anisama back in 2019. And of course, a very attractive lady with a perfect figure such as herself has given us 2 fairly revealing photo books. Praise the lords. As for the Tiny One-chan footy, most of the shows she's been in were short series, those being under 10-minute episodes, like Armor Shop for Ladies and Gentlemen, Tokyo Gambo, and Rail Romanesque. But she also had a small role in Kirito Pichan, though I'd say the biggest thing she's done outside of Love Live is portraying Irie in the Project Sakai series, being part of the unit More Jump, shoutouts to Yui Ogura. And she is currently in a full-length show called Astro Note, singing the opening theme as well. Speaking of, she has had about 4 solo live shows, 2 mini albums, those being Moonrise and Makeup, then 2 cover albums and 7 singles, with the recent one actually being her only Annie song. Her music style is very unique, at least for modern day music, The feeling is very Showa era, and it's honestly super refreshing to hear. Her song City being super popular, but I personally love Axiom. Not too many big festivals for her though, just at Lisani this year. She was gonna be there last year as well, but she got sick unfortunately. But aside from all this, she's got one photo book titled Itoshiki, and even an autobiography book titled I Furihata 100 Cultures. Little bonus thing for her, Furi and Kin actually have a character single together for I'm Standing on a Million Lives. Speaking of, next up is Kanako, who has also released one photo book last year, Slaying in the Swimsuit. Her solo singing career started back in 2020, since then having one EP, which was mostly covers, like Unravel from Tokyo Ghoul. But she's also got 3 singles, all being any songs. For the show I'm Standing on a Million Lives, both seasons by the way, and then there's Black Rock Shooter Dawnfall. Arguably the most popular part of her music career was her own unit that she created and designed the costumes for, that being Bloody. They had 4 singles and 1 album. The group has sort of disbanded, with Kanako being the only current active member. Apparently she was going to restart and possibly rebrand, but as far as I know, nothing's happened yet. Back to Vlad Love though, also I'm Standing on a Million Lives. These are 2 of the shows that she has roles in. The other one being Love and Lies. With her, the only festival I've ever really seen her at was Animax in her solo debut year. She also did her first stage play last year, titled Saga. And another little bonus, she used to stream quite often on her YouTube, but over the last few years, she seems to have stopped. And it's kind of a shame, I really enjoyed watching her play Resident Evil. But we are now on to Kyansama. Her music career consists of 1 full album, 1 EP, and then 7 singles. Her first one though, Future is Serious, being the ending for Queen's Blade back in 2012. It would be 8 years until she released her next song, No Life Code, a personal favorite of mine. Aside from Queen's Blade, she has sang themes for Freezing, Love of Kill, Farewell My Dear Grammar, Space Academy, and Shin Shuka Ichiban. That is the second most Annie songs out of all the Aqours girls. As for the member with the most, well, we'll get there in a few minutes. Back to Aika though, with all this music, naturally that means having a handful of solo shows, even a couple of tours in Japan, and being at the Annie era festivals a few times as well. No solo Annie-sama appearance though, unfortunately, and I don't really understand why. But she does have 2 photo books, Aika and Hikari, as well as her own fashion company called Yip Yip. A fan of The Last Airbender, I see. As for Aika's anime roles, they include, well, barely anything. Short series Piace, My Italian Cooking, and then Farewell, My Dear Grammar. She is much more of a singer than a Seiyu. Honestly, most of the Aqours girls are performers as opposed to voice actors, in my professional opinion at least. The chill cutie Suwa has 2 photo books, Suwa Wonderland and Nanaka. She also started her music career a little more recently in the not-so-lovely year of 2020. So Sweet Dolls being the debut album, amazing cover, love the hair and outfit. She had a mini-album the same year, and throughout her career having 2 more, along with 4 singles, the most recent being just a couple months ago. Her solo career is arguably my favorite out of all the Aqours girls, singing themes for the show's Management of a Novice Alchemist and Battle Athlete's Victory Restart. Having roles in both shows as well, this being the Alchemist one, and this is the Battle Athletes one. She's also in the short series PJ Berry no Mogu Mogu Munya Munya, based off of the PaPaPa the Rappa game series. She's got more shows though, the Chinese anime Journal of the Mysterious Creatures. Then there's her most notable role being in both seasons of Bofuri. Aside from Love Live, she's in the Idol Busho franchise, a newer multimedia series with lots of good talent. She's even performed live a couple times with them as well. Her group, I'm still unsure how to say, it's like XUC or Cross UC. Maybe it's even 10UC, like the Roman numeral. Anyway, she's in it with her good friends Moi Toyota and Erika Ishitobi. Oh, also for her solo career, she's had quite a few lives which actually can be found on her YouTube, and even 2 joint lives with fellow Love Live member Aguri Onishi, though those aren't on YouTube. Not legally at least. Maybe in the future they'll upload it to her channel though, that'd be pretty cool. Next, the DJ, actress, former swimsuit model extraordinaire Arisa Komiya. She is a very active DJ, not having traditional live shows, but she is a guest at many clubs and smaller festivals. Also a lot of fan events. She has had 4 traditional photo books since 2012, Summer Diaries, Majestic, Arisa, and Io. Prior to this though, she had Grab Your DVDs, like a lot. But a couple years after joining Love Live, it seems she tried to stay clear of those, now trying to do more acting and music. Music including portraying Aki in the Denonbu franchise with the group Azabu, and then being in the D4DJ franchise as Mana with Call of Artemis, performing live with both groups and being in the anime version of D4DJ. Other anime include the Garo Divine Flame movie, Kamono Jihen, Miss Kuriyutsu from the Monster Development Department, and another 2 movies, The Tunnel to Summer, The Exit of Goodbyes, as well as Star Blazers 2202. Unlike the other Aqua ladies, Arisa is much more of a live-action actress, being in many TV shows and movies, most of which we'd be unfamiliar with, but some TV versions of anime like Mob Psycho 100 and Backstreet Girls. There's even a movie with Iris member Himika Akane, an adaptation of the manga series Omaira Zenin Mendo Kusai. I'd say her main passion though is tokusatsu. If you don't know what that is, it's just the superhero genre. Acting and doing voiceovers for shows like Kamen Rider Ghost and Kamen Rider 01, as well as Ultraman Ginga S the movie. Then some Super Sentai like Uchu Sentai Kyo Ranger, and then there's her most known role, the one she played for 3 years throughout the main series and like 5 different movies. Yoko Usami, aka the Yellow Buster, in Tokimei Sentai Go Busters, even doing a live-action concert with them back in the day. This season is Power Rangers Beast Morphers in English, by the way, and Arisa even has a few stage play roles of anime and game IPs, like Phantasy Star Online 2, Robotics Notes, and more recently, Black Clover. She's even cosplayed a few times, but that's more of a hobby than career things, but I still wanted to show her outfits. Last up, the very small, very loud goddess Aina. Like Furihata, she is one of the smallest members, but she also has probably released the most music within the group. 2 full albums and 7 singles, easily having the most Annie songs and surpassing Aina for the most decent anime roles. These go hand in hand, so I'll just mention them together. Her Annie songs and characters are in the shows Monster Girl Doctor and Rumble Garen Doll, those being the endings for those shows, by the way. And then she has openings for Hatana Illusion, Sports Climbing Girls, Totama, Josh and John Season 2, and The Weakest Tamer Began a Journey to Pick Up Trash. Great title. You could really hear my enthusiasm dying as I continued to read that title. There's also the opening for Alice Girl Aegis expansion and the ending for Saint's Power is Omnipotent Season 2, not having a role in either of these. And I specifically want to shout out her song Wonder Map. Great track and great music video. Some other anime she's in include Miss Nagatoro, Teppen, 3 Leaves 3 Colors, Castletown Dandelion, and Magical Girl Sight. But also shoutouts to her very first role in Akame ga Kill. Then there's A Journey Through Another World, which will begin in July, and she's actually co-starring in this with her real-life sister. That's pretty cool. Oh, also sometime this year she'll join the new season of Demon Lord We Try with the role of Luna, taking over the character from Kaori Ishihara. This is because the studio changed, by the way, and everyone was recast for some reason. Aina has had 2 full lives and then another handful of solo shows since her singing debut. She has been at Anisama 3 times, 3 in a row, with the 4th one coming this summer. Way more than any other Aqua member, and even more than any current members of the whole Love Live franchise. Honestly, in general, I'd say only Nanjo, Tokui, and Momori have been there more than her. Aina has even opened up a day and been part of a few crossovers, so that's really cool for her. As for other decently sized yearly events, she was at Chojiken this year, and I think that was her first time being there. Funny enough, most of Aqua was also there with Aina, but she wasn't performing with them, just as a solo act. She's also been at a few Anietta shows too. Lastly for her, like most of her Aqua sisters, she has a photo book. Only one, titled I Love. Probably a play on I, the English pronoun, and the Japanese I, meaning love. Also the beginning of her name. Now a little bonus here, let's include the Saint Snow duo. First up, Asami Senpai has no solo singing career, but back in the day she was part of a unit called Boy Style for 5 years starting in 2002, having 8 singles, a full album, and 1 best of. Their very last single actually being the 5th opening of One Piece. As for anime she voices in, actually a lot more than I thought, though most of it is smaller stuff. Minor characters in Sword Art Online, Fairy Tail, Boruto, and God of High School. Then bigger things in Testament of Sister New Devil, Burn the Witch, Pretty Cure, and Toriko, which also technically means she's in One Piece as well in the crossover episodes. And of course, her most well-known role being in Zombieland Saga and the leader of the real-life group Franchouchou. Then there's her stage play career, being in Black Butler, Blue Exorcist, Kuroko no Basket, and Persona 3. She was going to be in a 7 Deadly Sins stage as well, but unfortunately she got injured. The last thing to talk about, in the year of 2021, she celebrated 20 years in the industry, releasing a special photo book. And she got married to fellow voice actor Ryo Kitamura, a younger man. Now lastly, arguably the busiest girl of this whole Love Live generation, though her section won't do a good job of showcasing it. But yeah, lots of performing. Before that though, super minor roles in Skip and Loafer, Shadowverse, Healer Girl, and Spy Family. Then kind of more relevant characters in Kutsudaru and My Stepmom's Daughter is My Ex. Hee-chan has 1 photo book and has actually been in a few live action series and movies. Her photo book being called Blue, and the movies and television series not really accessible for us over here. But what's a little more accessible is stage plays, and she has a few of them that were actually anime adaptations for Cutie Honey Universe, Akiba Maid War, and Kageki Shoujo. Not to be confused with Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight, which is arguably the biggest thing that she's got going for her, being in the main cast of the show and part of the group Starlight Kukugumi. The other really big thing she has would be in the Project Sakai series like fellow Generation member Furihata, though Hina is in a different group, part of the unit Night Court at 25 o'clock. That's like the midnight hour in Persona. But another franchise she's in with an Aqua member would be in D4DJ with Komiya, though again in different units. Sato being in Photon Maiden, my personal favorite of the franchise, and just overall in my top 5. Actually, Hinata in general is arguably my favorite idol Seiyu. But anyway, still one more big multimedia project to mention, being a recent addition to the Uma Musume Pretty Derby franchise, portraying KS Miracle. With these 4 franchises having around 30 performances between them and a new stage play every year with some other live action stuff sprinkled in and all the radio she does, she is quite a busy girl. To top it all off, back in the day she was a member of Sakura Gakuin, debuting at like 12 years old. She's had a very successful career despite only being in her mid-20s. Super excited to see what the future holds for her. An extra bonus at the end here that involves a few girls, Hinata here, Inami, Furihata, and Kobayashi, have all been in this warrior photo shoot called the Joyu Project, which doesn't seem to be anything more than just really cool pictures of the girls. And so that's the main thing, but I have a couple closing thoughts and some things that I noticed. Despite Shuka's section being the shortest, I feel like she's arguably the most successful member of the group, in terms of music at least, but with some decent roles too. Other candidates for most successful being Aina and Aida, who's in the same situation. They both have lots of music, lots of anime, and a few guest appearances. The difference between the 3 being Shuka putting on many more shows, Aina being in more anime and having more anime themes, then Aida, aside from anime, having more overseas dubs and game roles, even if the games aren't that popular over here. An odd coincidence that I noticed was the start of their music careers. Aika and Kinchan both started in 2012, but then they took a break after joining Aqua, then relaunching their music in 2020, the same year that Furihata, Suwa, and Aina began their careers. So that's kind of 5 of them debuting in the same year. As for the others, well, Aida and Shuka both debuted in 2019. And as I'm recording this, I'm now realizing those 2 are the oldest and the youngest of the group, and arguably the most popular members too. Which I guess is another fun coincidence, but back to the first point, 5 of them debuting in 2020, and then the other 2 in 2019, with those 7 being like the main singers of the group. With Anju only really recently starting her singing career, and Arisa just straight up doesn't have one. So yeah, I guess that's where we end this here. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed or learned something new, please do leave me a like. And definitely join me in the next one about an underrated Seiyu who also has a very powerful singing voice. I look forward to seeing you there.